23rd of March, Rinse and Foundations team up to bring you Slimzy, Mooney, Spires, Movement and Anza, live from Patterns in Brighton, as part of our club tour across the UK in association with Bumble. For tickets and more info, head to rinse.fm.
Welcome one and all, Rinse FM, Metalheadz. Myself, SP. Tonight we're here with the blocks&escher. Here to celebrate the launch of the fresh LP, Something Blue, as we just set the tone, set the mood. Yeah, we're setting it off right. As we just set the tone, shouts to the Photech, King of Kings. yeah, we're here. Blocks&escher SP for the next 2 hours. Metalheadz taking over. Strictly the finest cuts. Yeah, so later on, gonna be having a chat with the lads, getting it in depth about the album. For now, we just set the tone, as I said. Couple classics. Timeless. Right now we're just rolling with some of the influences. Inspiration. Heads. Shouts to the head honcho, man like the Goldicus. For those who just locked in, Metalheadz in session. Myself, SP, blocks&escher. Rinse FM, the big one. As we demonstrate style and technique, listen good.
I think of you.
So we're going to try something a little different tonight. Rather than a 15-minute boring interview, we're just going to try and ask some questions throughout the show when the right time arises. Stay with us, Rinse. Metalheadz in session, blocks&escher on the controls. Yeah, so we're here tonight, Rinse, to talk about blocks&escher's brand new LP, Something Blue. Coming out real soon. End of March. So yeah, next week, next 10 days or so, it's there for you. Right, so the next one coming in, the LP sampler is out there for you now. 3 tunes on the street. This one entitled One Touch. We're gonna let this one run and then have a little natter. Yeah, so that one entitled One Touch, LP sampler, out now. So go check for that. Blocks and Escher, Something Blue, Metalheadz. So later on we'll be talking about the album process, inspiration behind the LP, couple other questions for the guys. So, here this evening with Blocks and Escher.
Hello mate, how you doing?
There he is.
Hello.
Yeah, we've got him. We're all here.
Winging it.
Yeah, we're just styling it as we go, really. So, I had a few questions written down, and I was thinking something that I'd really like to ask you boys. That tune that just played, One Touch, was a good example of samples and what, you know, like that role that in your music and always has done, you know, throughout your catalogue on Narratives and earlier tunes on Metalheadz. Always, you know, interested by that. So that was a good example of it. And what I wanted to ask you, because a lot of young kids now, if they were getting into drum and bass, they may be, you know, like it's all about the synths and the presets, and it's less sample-driven music in general these days. And, you know, like, for your opinion on that and what, you know, how important samples are to your process.
I don't want to be like cynical about it at all, but maybe it's a generational thing. But you know, I certainly came into the music through listening to lots of other music, even as a teen, being into hip hop and the soul and the jazz and stuff that inspired that. And then the break beats led to me to drum and bass. So you kind of have always been driven down this road by samples in some degree. So I think, like, you know, we've been writing tunes, well, individually for God knows how many years, and even together for getting on 10. Yeah. So samples was always just, I don't know, the natural thing to do. You're inspired by the music in your environment.
It's part of the process, right? And I think, you know,
there's history with it. It's like these days, I mean, things come and go, don't they? And now these days, a lot of things are very synthetic, the way it's done. But it's not about using one or the other. Do you know what I mean? It's about the balance of bringing them both together, and then you get like interesting context. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly, and that's the thing that's important. We're not looking to throw shade on any of the more modern processes. All it is to make people understand that where you guys are coming from, you know, and this is something, one of the reasons that I'm here, you know, doing this with you guys today, is that it's always impressed me about your music is you'll be able to maybe do something that sounds very Metalheadz without using the classic Metalheadz sounds, i.e., you know, like the Mentasm, the choir, you know, there were so certain ones where it used to be like, G would be like, oh, do you want to do a tune for Heads? And people would just go for those instant kind of, you know, like, they're guaranteed to work.
We have used them.
Yeah, exactly. No, they're in the tunes, you know what I mean?
But maybe, yeah, you guys, yeah, you have like a great understanding.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds just in our blood, man. I've said it before and I say it again, do you know what I mean? So that sort of emotion just comes through naturally, do you know what I mean? So you can get to it in different paths, you know what I mean?
I think it's like important as well. Again, we're going to show our age, but, you know, the Metalheadz that we fell in love with initially, you know, that wasn't driven by just the pad, just the, you know, the chorus pad and the Mentasm. It was like, you know, Hidden Agenda, it was Photech, you know, all these people throwing in all the flavours. And again, it's like, you know, and for me, it was that fusion that embodies the drum and bass I love and still love now, you know.
Wicked. All right, so we're going to crack on with some more music, less chatter, roll out a few more beats, and we'll have another little chat, chinwag later on about the album. But yeah, keep it locked. Rinse FM, Metalheadz. Yeah, so this one, something else, taken off the brand new LP, Something Blue, track entitled Vigil. Blocks and Escher business, yeah? Rinse, stay tuned. Rolling. Blocks and Escher in session. Rinse FM Metalheadz special. Selection essential. Yeah, for those who know the heritage, sounds of Bjork, Dillinger on the remix, Dangerous. Yeah. Metalheadz style and structure. Rinse FM. Blocks&escher in the building. And the styles advanced. Sharp like shards of glass. Top of the class. Yeah, we're live in session, rolling out. Blocks&escher. Shakedown. Right, rolling this one in from the edge. So for those who may have just locked in, unaware of procedures, it's Rinse FM Metalheadz taking over. Myself, SP, Blocks&escher in the building. So we're here to celebrate the launch of the brand new LP, Something Blue. I got to ask the lads about the album writing process, as I believe it's actually been finished for a little while, but still, guys, can you tell us about, how long it took you to make and how you got there? You got there in the end?
Well, I think as most people who have any knowledge of us would probably tell you that it's been quite a while in the making. We've did our first release and single on Metalheadz in 2014 or something, and essentially Goldie pretty much dropped the bombshell that not only did he want an album, but he pretty much told everyone that an album was coming.
This is what you're doing.
Yeah,
That sounds about right.
And like announced it to the world. So, you know, at that point, obviously we hadn't even started an album, and having that much pressure just kind of straight out, we kind of went away to start writing, and I genuinely don't think we even started writing the album for a year because we just felt like we couldn't do anything.
Right. It was long. Like, there's so much pressure with something like that you just, you know what I mean? I couldn't even make music for like 6 months. You know what I mean? I was thinking about what I'm doing, all this and that.
Yeah,
and once that
also
passed,
with an album, I know this. You know, like just quickly to interject, you've almost got to plan your angle of attack, haven't you, before you start?
Well, that's what I thought. That's the thing. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking, what's the point of doing this? Do you know what I mean? And like, the more I thought about it, the less I made. So then it got to the point where we just flowed with it, and it just come out natural. You know what I mean?
back to basics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like you go into these things kind of on the premise of like, I've got to write this theme album, a journey. It's got to be some progressive rock kind of like theatre thing, you know, like it's got to be, you know, concise and cohesive, which, you know, inevitably it does at the end. But you kind of go in thinking, you know, what is my angle, and you think about it so much. You try to write music that you've got in your head, and it just doesn't work out like that. Like, weirdly, I don't know, a year into it, 18 months into it, you start writing music and it just starts to fit and just starts to work out, and it turns into its own beast, I guess. You
have to manifest it in your head first, I think. You're probably right, like you guys knew what you had to do. If you'd have just jumped straight into it, you know, you've almost got to get your head around the task ahead, haven't you, before you kind of dive in.
And I think it's all like, you know, matter of perspective. It's like, I'm pretty sure the album that came out is very different to what Will and I originally intended when we first said, okay, we're going to do it, and I'm pretty sure it's very different to what Goldie expected, you know what I mean? But that's how things work, and I think it's better for it, you know?
So another question that kind of leads on from what we're talking about at the moment, I've got written down, is inspirations for the LP, you know, like maybe during or before. You know, I know you guys, obviously you listen to a lot of music outside of the drum and bass spectrum, and that obviously gets drawn into the work that you put together. So
yeah, but again, that's like what was causing what was causing it to be a problem. Do you know what I mean? You think of different albums, and then you try and do something, like you try and go in a direction of something. Do you know what I mean? And then once you let go of that, then it flows. Do you know what I mean? Right. I was thinking of stuff like, when I was starting it, I was thinking of stuff like Shadow, introducing things like this, the way albums work. Do you know what I mean? But like,
yeah, in terms of just the flow of it, not even the actual music.
It just rolls through, but like, at the end of the day, you just waste time thinking about this. Like, it just came, once you start making things, then whatever mood you're in at the time just flows through, do you know what I mean? And then it came together.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's funny, like, I don't want to kind of like contradict, you know, what I've just said and what Will's just said, but it's also like, I think we've never really changed our sound. Like, you know, since our first releases anywhere, but then Narratives to the album we've just done, like, we just kind of did our thing. Like, I don't think we've particularly got a sound or anything. I think we wear our influences on our sleeves. But, you know, for some reason or another, it's just turned out the way it has. And people, you know, call it carving our own path or just being stupidly persistent. But some reason or other, people started turning their heads and started listening. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's no, like, obvious or primary influence. Do you know what I mean? It's more of, like, a nice mixture of all styles and, you know, techniques in there. You can hear, you know, I know, like, personally with Phil being, you know, like a big, you're an Eno guy, and, you know, you're a Bowie guy, but you don't really hear that like as a, oh my God, it's screaming that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the next album's going to be really self-indulgent. But yeah, obviously, like I say, there are influences on our sleeve from, you know, we were chatting earlier on in the pre-pub, like banter, like we're talking like drum and bass influences, and, you know, I wouldn't have to think too hard, but, you know, obviously Goldie and Photek instrumental, like, and like, you know, Goldie and Rupert, like I'm his best mate, Photek were kind of there, you know, long before I ever got into it. And, you know, when I first got into the music, it was like, oh, it's a Photek album. But instrumental, I saw them kind of rise, and they were probably the main ones in my generation.
Yeah, more recently,
to do something that like that. But
when we said that in the pub, and I'll put it on record, that were the, you know, instrumental coming around and then linking up with Darren D-Bridge. That's probably the most original thing that's happened in drum and bass in, you know, recent memory. So, you know, like, yeah, respect to those guys.
Absolutely. And outside of drum and bass, again, I think you'll hear certain elements on the album, like, you know, Will and I listen to all sorts of, well, literally all sorts of shit, but also, you know, from, you know, also like Fleetwood Mac, Led Zeppelin, you know, there's obviously jazz influence on it. I'm certainly not like I am a jazz fan. I couldn't tell you shit about it really. I like what I like, but there's a certain tone of like certain smokiness, like a certain vibe that just, you know, saxophones have, trumpets have. Don't get me wrong, I'm not into all the noodly nonsense.
Yeah, right. So anyway, moving on. This one, another track on the LP, Something Blue, by the guys right here. This one's actually out now, entitled Something Borrowed, Something Blue. It's on the sampler. Check this. My favourite, I'd like to add. Metalheadz music, Rinse FM. Back up in the place, marking territory. Drums. Shouts to Paradox on this one, fresh in the inbox. Danger.
From the start, hip hop got it, my heart. In the game, yo, number one. Break it down. Play that beat. Jazz to rap. Hip hop got it, my heart. Born on the game. Yo, come on. Break it down.
As we strip it back clean, give the groove room to breathe.
Play that beat.
Metalheadz in and tune with the supreme elite. When we touch your heads are coming off clean.
Hip hop got it, my heart. Born in the game. Yo, come on. Break it down. Do my job.
Shouts to everyone locked in, logged on to the frequency, the big bad Rinse FM. Shouts to the Rinse gang. Genius. Soldier. Big up the rap. All the original crew. And all the new members too. 21 gun salute. Reaching out to the TC1. Big up Jube, Lensman, Ulterior Motive. Shouts to DLR. Mako. All Metalheadz crew. Can't forget the originals. The Clarky, Marley Marl, the DJ Flight, Bailey, Loxy Inc., The Storm. Too many names to mention, you know the deal already. Right, rolling this next one in from the edge. Shouts to the DJ Cross, aka Captain K, one of the original dance. Big up the Bristol crew. The Size, the DIE, Dynamite, Suv. All the Represent gang, the Bill Riley, all of that, all of that, all of that. Salute Bristol. Right, so we're going to go back into some more of the influences. Big up Crust, one of the original Mad Professors, trendsetters. Check the techers. Shouts to the man they call Kahal, keeping everything nice, widescreen, 1080p, HD. How you mean? Right, so we're just chatting off mic. Man like Crust. If you like the sound of this tune, go check out DJ Crust, Soul in Motion. DJ Crust, True Stories. Man was going on deep in this era right here, you know. Film soundtrack business, widescreen business. Yeah, so we're back in the influences right now. Gonna roll this one in from the top. Shouts to the 31 Gunshot, aka Mr. Doc Scott.
Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves. Jack had a groove. And from this groove
Right, so the talk is,
of all grooves.
can you hear the filters?
Jack had a
Modern music don't twist about like this.
And from this groove came the grooves of all grooves.
Proper. As we journey to the center, to the depths. Shouts to the dolphins and the whales on this one. Big up David Attenborough, Blue Planet Business. as we continue.
Fucking love this tune.
Metalheadz in session. Shouts Lemon D on this one. Original Metalheadz Pressure. Shouts to the big boss Dillinger, the originator. Rinse FM will hit you with a romper stomper, the terror danger. Blocks and Escher on the fader. Watch it, Rinse. Told you, Rinse, we're not messing around, we're not F about. Serious things when we pass through the building. Right, half an hour to roll. Metalheadz Radio, Rinse FM. Blocks&escher doing the business. So remember, the brand new album, Something Blue, out end of March. Sampler on the streets with you right now. Go check that out, blocks&escher. Serious team, serious team. Shouts out to Meth. Overlooked, done a little cheeky one.
Slums, bricks and guns, man do roll just to get them funds. Man get money and forget themselves. Man lose focus, sniff and bun. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Man got hope, thought this was fun. Man get birded and wet themselves. Snakes and snitches slit their tongue. Man don't really wanna do no crime. Man just wanna get rich and done. But God knows man ain't taking an L. Like some dickhead punk. Rise up the heat like hating from hell. Man's gonna load up the gauge with the bells and make that ring till Christmas come. Man get whacked with a gift wrap pump. RS, that's for roadside, ain't no funny man, ain't no funny gang. Man know me, man's no phony man, do road, I'm a money man.
as we continue. Into this. Strictly for the hardcore heads. As we advance, proceed, progress. With the blocks to escher. Metalheadz live in the mix. Try some of this. Rinse, rinse, rinse. Fire shot as we'll exit out of that into this. Bombing them heavy like the Blitz. So now we get cold like the weather is. Certified specialist. Shouts out to the Paris Pearson Sound. Rinse FM, live direct from the cutting edge. Right, so check this. Another track taken off the forthcoming LP, Something Blue. That's why we're here tonight. We're here to celebrate and let everyone know it's ready to roll. Blocks&Escher, live on the Rinse. Track entitled Goals again. Check this. Right, so after this one, we can have another quick chat. For those unaware with Blocks&Escher, the guys have a record label by themselves of their own entitled Narratives. So I believe the next one is Narrative number 1. And for all of you unaware, I recommend you go check that label out. Some serious music on there already. We're up to number 12, I believe. So I'll start with you, Phil. Let the people know what Narratives is all about, what it stands for, why you started it. Fill the people in.
That's a really big question. We've always wanted to kind of leave a mark, create something, have our own visual, have our own control, create a sound, but pull like-minded people together. See, that's kind of like the positive, the artistic stance on it. But I guess the other side is, it's just, if you just count on other labels and stuff, you have to, at times you're asked to conform, or you have to wait ages for stuff to come out and stuff like that. So it's just
a way of getting your own stuff out.
Yeah, and we were quite lucky to have like quite big names play our stuff early and sign our tunes. We don't want to get into names, but sadly at the same time we were waiting for a year, 18 months, 2 years for releases. And as we all know, it's unmanageable in this scene.
Well, I remember that's early on in the days of Narratives. There was a tune by Will, right? Is it Late Snare? That when I went up to Radio 1, and I was asked to play a couple of my favourite tunes of the year, and that was one of them. So yeah,
hey, yeah, big up, yeah. Well, that tune was the one that Goldie got. Like, he listened to that, and then like he was interested. You know what I mean? So that was like a big step for us. You know what I mean? At the time, it's funny though, because like I didn't want to put that tune out because I felt it was like too dusty. So you know what I mean? It's weird. Yeah, exactly. Like I had to be convinced to put it out, and then like it ended up being like
yeah, that's still. We might actually we might have to line that one up after this one. Keep it locked, people. Rinse FM, we've got about 10 minutes left. Blocks and Escher in session. One more time, if you didn't catch the message, the album Something Blue out within the next week or so, end of March. If you're desperate for the styles, the LP sampler's there already. You've got 3 tunes out there right now, go check them out. Something Borrowed, Something Blue, Your Ghost, One Touch. It's there for you as we speak. Metalheadz the label. Right, so into the next one. Keeping it on a narratives tip. Narratives number 13, forthcoming. This one, SB81. Big up Sean. Easy. Yeah, so this one forthcoming, Narratives 13, SB81. Late April, early May. Rolling. T-5 and we're out of here, out of here, out of here, out of here. Seeing as we're here to let you lot know about the new LP, we're going to sign out with something off said project. track entitled Emerald. We'll leave you with this, Rinse FM. Thank you for your ears. Peace from blocks&escher myself. We're out of here. Salute.